Right, whenever you have your background finished, you are ready to add your black silhouette to it. Or if you would like to just draw something over top, you easily can do that too. So then if you wanted to use a little template, you can. There's many different choices. All the little pictures are on the outside, and then they should be the same ones that are inside. Okay, so you can look through. There's a whole little tub of them, and you can choose the one you want. So I'm gonna pick one out to then show you. Some will be easier to trace around than others. If it has antlers, it's a little difficult. Okay, so I chose like this little moose. I am gonna decide where I want it to be placed. So I'm gonna choose kind of right here. Since it's a land animal, I'm gonna need to draw some land. So I have to think about where that is. I don't wanna do it, way up top and then end up having to draw a whole bunch of black, because then it would cover up my yellow. So I'm gonna place it right here. Then I'm gonna be using a pencil, and I'm gonna trace all the way around. So I'm gonna go all the way around. The reason why you're using a pencil is because if you do make a mistake, we aren't going to be able to really erase it, but we can help cover it up if there is a mistake with the pencil. So make sure you take your time so that way it looks like what you're doing. I always like to move my little fingers to wherever I'm working at, especially if they're really thin. Like these legs are pretty thin, so I'm gonna use some of my fingers to hold them down so they don't move. All right. So if you do have like a mistake with your tracing, you can't really use an eraser. I'll show you what that looks like. It'll just get the oil pastels onto the eraser, and then it'll make it just look really white here. What you can do if it's a huge mistake, you can either get your paintbrush wet again and just go over it, and it'll kind of blend that area. Or you can color over that spot with the color you used. So I used red, and then you can blend it again, and that will kind of get rid of it. So now you can't really see where I just had that pencil there. Okay, then after you get it traced, we are gonna be filling it in. You can use a black oil pastel. So you can use a black oil pastel. Sometimes this is a new one, so it's nice and pointed, but sometimes it's rounded and it's really hard to get the shapes. So I'm gonna use some black paint. So I have my black paint. And then the brushes you're gonna use are small, you need small brushes. So there's like two different sizes of the blue brushes. And then the yellow brush you can also use, it's fairly small. Right. And then don't forget to put your stencil back in the bag that you got it from, and then close the bag. All right, so filling it in with the black is probably the most important step, and we have to be very careful. So with my small blue brush, I'm gonna carefully dip it in the paint, making sure I only get it on the bristles. Okay, if you get it on the little metal part, you won't be using that paint anyways, and it's just gonna make your brush really sloppy. So try and just get it on the little bristles or the little hair of the brush. So I'm gonna carefully dip in, okay? Then I always like to start working with the outline. So I like to trace around where the outline is with my paint. And then I like to move So you're gonna have to go nice and slow and take your time. But the biggest thing is using smaller brushes. If you use a huge brush, you're gonna get out of the lines really easily. So then you will fill in this whole shape. So the rest of the time, I will be filling this in, and then I am going to add some land, and I'm actually gonna stop and add some land here. For bigger sections, like right in here, I like to do the outside first of where I'm painting. And then if I'm filling it in with this tiny brush, sometimes I like to go to just a bigger brush and make it really fast. So in these like larger sections. But make sure you are using a smaller brush, especially to get all these little tiny details. And then make sure you don't have a lot of globs of paint. So smooth out the globs, it'll help it dry faster if there's not like puddles of puddles of paint. All right, so the rest of the video I'll fill in that. I'm gonna just talk about the land. So with the black paint, I have to add some land because it'll look like a floating moose. So what I'm gonna do is add just some land so that way the feet are on the black. Okay, and I can make my land however I want. Maybe my land drops off. And you might have to paint another coat once it dries or add some more paint. Okay, you can, stop the video right now, or if you want to watch me fill in the rest of the moose, you can.